video, I'm going to break down how I can help you using this advice that I wish somebody told me when I was younger. Advice number one is to be uncomfortable. When I joined the military at 17, I didn't think how easy it was to stagnate, specifically in the Marine Corps. Now, once you get in, well, from the outside looking in, you think everyone is top tier and higher level. But once you're actually in, you realize that there's different levels to people, right? There you got the lowest ones, the middle range one, like the higher ones. Your overall goal should be to be the top 10% in everything you go to, right? At least that's my goal. And the thing that helped me get there was to be uncomfortable. So any opportunity I had, I tried to be the first to volunteer. I tried to be the first to get things done. Now, I'm not saying that I made the best choice every single time, right? Or I passed every single thing. I know specifically the first thing I failed that I wanted to go to was the combat marksmanship coach course in the Marine Corps, meaning I learned how to shoot and I teach others to learn how to shoot, which I failed back in 2017, but I passed when I went back in 2018, right? And that was my first step going forward of something that I wanted to do, that I wanted to help me strengthen my mindset, help me become a better person and to be better than my peers. I'm not saying there's competition that you should be trying to fight with, but in order to be better, in order to put yourself above your peers in the military, in any place in general, you have to be better. You have to do more. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to take that step forward even though you don't want to, right? The second time I did it was when I tried to do the martial arts instructor course, which is a a tough course, hence the name martial arts instructor. It's not easy at all. Now, I failed that course back in 2021, but I went back and I passed in 2022, right? And it taught me the meaning that just because you fail, just because you quit, just because you do things that you don't want to do, that you're afraid to do because of that perceived notion of how tough or how hard it is, just try it anyways. The worst that's going to happen is that you fail, but you can still go back again. The worst that's going to happen is that somebody can tell you no, but then you can try again. Just try a different method, right? Be uncomfortable. Don't be afraid. That second advice is to develop a routine. In the military, you get you can be complacent if you want to. But in order for you to see consistent growth in whatever field that you're doing, whether you're maybe in the civilian world, you work in the office or something, you have to develop a routine for how you do things, right? For example, my thing when I went to work, I went work, lunch, gym, and went back to sleep again, right? Just make a routine of something maybe you can apply that process when you're at work, right? Maybe you can try to find the best way to do things. The best way for you to grow in general, right, is to focus more on the inputs than the output. Meaning, think about the task or job that you're doing and think what actually works and just continue doing that one thing until you become great at that one thing, right? Another thing I want to recommend to you is that if you see something that hasn't been done, that hasn't been made, something like maybe a manual that you can make to help make the job better, take the initiative and do it. Because eventually somebody's going to steal your idea, of course, right? Meaning that they're going to revise it. But if you start it, then that's just your name on something else, right? Your work will be there forever, but you won't. Think about it like that. Also, it helps you by being consistent. It's helps you become more consistent when it comes to your growth. Meaning that the boring stuff is what is needed in order for you to grow. Great things happen in the boring stuff. Name one person that you know who did one thing and then another thing and then another thing, and yet they were still successful, right? Nobody. Because the more you focus on one single task, the better you will be overall, the more proficient you will be. So think about that. Advice number three is to develop that sincere candor, which means you essentially express yourself to others in a way that shows honestly that you're honest, that you're open and you're genuine, while also paying attention to their feelings of how they feel, right? Because if you're not direct with people, then they don't know if they're actually going to be wrong or not, right? You have to attack the problem directly so you can learn how to fix it. Because excellence is built on those truthful moments. The fact that you are being direct is what people will appreciate the most about you. That will help them grow the most. Because if you're indirect and you say things kind of like on the side, or you say things but not say things at the same time, they won't know directly what you're talking about. But if you address the issue directly, then that will help them grow overall and help you grow overall. So you're both in a linear growth over time, right? This helped me numerous times. I learned this when I was on drone shutter duty, right? Numerous times when I had to talk to people. I used to be indirect and not as direct as I am now, but being here, being a drone shutter, well, finishing up my drone shutter, I'll be leaving next month. But finishing up, it made me realize the positive side effects of using sincere candor when you speak to people, right? Because it just shows that you want them to be better. You want to help them. Because if you afraid of what people say about you, then why are you even in that position for? Right? Everyone's afraid of something, right? But don't be afraid to correct people if they're wrong. Because you can't push nobody forward in life in general if you don't approach the problem directly. Just don't do so in a mischievous or evil manner. Advice number 4. Collect memories with people who matter because awards collect dust, but memories do not. Now, throughout my time, I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to take photos and take videos, right? For me, that is the most higher form of just being grateful and being present in the moment. Because everything that I did over my time in the military, I don't really care about that, right? The times that sucked, the times of me and the boys and the girls went through hard times, the struggles, the constant like grinding through. That's what I love. And that's what I want to remember in the back of my head. That's why I'm gonna use the term, I always jump when it comes to taking photos because those are the memories that I will remember forever, right? And they will be in a cloud. So others will remember them forever as well. When I become an old man, swinging on my porch, back and forth with my creaky chair, right? I'm going to look back to those memories and think of how those were the good times. The times that you're living now, what age you are, right? These are the good times. So take advantage of them. Take photos with your friends. Because when it's time go away. When you wake up and you're like, dang, what have I been doing in my life? I don't even remember the moments anymore. Because as you grow older, as you know, your memory starts to decay and you forget a lot of stuff. But if you take photos, if you have memories, then those memories will be alive forever inside your mind and in the mind of others. Advice number 5, stop chasing certainty. You'll never have the perfect plan. You'll never plan 100% of everything that's going to happen, right? Imperfect information helps you create the imperfect plan because that will always be analysis paralysis, meaning that if you don't have all the facts, if you don't know what's going to happen next, just take one tiny step forward. You don't have to take a big leap. Just take one tiny step, right? If you have to make a decision of, let me just think of an example right quick. Let's say you wake up in the morning and you have to make the decision of whether or not you want to maybe go to the gym or play basketball. Take one tiny step forward, right? Brush your teeth, wash your face, and then figure out then. Because as you do more things, information just comes to you naturally. It's going to come, but focus on those tiny steps forward instead of focusing on the overall thing. And that's how you go forward in life. Because if you just sit there in the bed for a long time and just decide, then you may come to an outcome eventually. But if you just take a step forward and just get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, just do like the normal things you normally do, then you might come to a decision, right? For myself, when I first started this YouTube journey, I wasn't always, or I was kind of indecisive about it because I'm not really a internet type of person, right? I kind of developed this stuff within me. People see me now and they think, "How can you do this?" Even though you say you're an introvert, but you make videos online, it's easier for me. I don't know. I guess it's a developed skill over time you get, but I learned that even though you don't know everything, even though you don't know how this whole thing is going to work out, just take a step forward in faith, not hope, because hope disappears eventually, right? But in faith in something bigger than yourself or even in yourself, right? Because when you take that step forward, then that's how you grow. That's how you beat others who don't take a step forward because you're not stuck trying to see what would happen if you do this or what happened if that happens. You're just going forward by default. Advice number 6, get brutally honest about your weaknesses. For myself, my top 10 weakness that I can think of right now is the way I speak, right? As you pretty much heard the last few advice, I stutter sometimes. I speak too fast at times. I have a language. I've slurred my words, but that's because I have a speech impediment growing up. My mind think faster than the words that come out of my mouth. So usually my words come out when I'm too excited. I have to calm down, for me to match my mind pace to my word pace. So that's my problem, and I'm honest about it. That's another reason why I started YouTube, right? To fix that habit, because I expose myself to criticisms online, to people like you who can judge me, and I can take it and use it to my advantage. Because there's no other place where you can get criticism other than YouTube or social media itself. And that's why I feel you need to be brutally honest on your weaknesses. Because that is my main one. Because if you don't become brutally honest on your weakness, then you're just ignoring what can help you grow. Because once you overcome that, if you can, or you use it to your strength, then who knows how far you can grow in life. Advice number 7, build a network of doers, meaning people who execute consistently, not with people who complain all the time, people who always think the bad part about everything, right? The ones who show up even when they don't want to. The ones who try to constantly strive to be better than they were a month ago, a year ago, a week ago, right? Build a network of people like that. That's how you grow overall. I remember this example when we were supposed to do this physical test. I'm in the Marine Corps, and it was really cold outside, and this person kept complaining so much, and I just snapped out of nowhere. I said, "It doesn't matter." My words was not like this. It was a lot more harsh, but I said, "It doesn't matter. We're all here with you. We're all going through the same thing. So whether or not you like it literally doesn't matter. We're literally going to be doing the thing anyways. So just shut up and deal with it, right?" And I didn't realize I did that because I'm not the one to kind of snap like that usually, right? And that taught me that that's why I hate the most, just people who complain because there's no reason to complain, right? It's gonna happen to you eventually. Complain afterwards. Complain after the fact when everything's done. But when you do it, but when you're actually in the thing, just do it. Just deal with it, right? It's gonna be over eventually. Advice number 8: master one hard skill. For me, I learned my first hard skill that I learned was copywriting, and that was back in 2020 when I was deployed in Africa, right? And I just did it to earn some extra money because the military don't pay us enough. But it was a great investment in myself because from then on now, if that's a word, then on now, I learned the value of how that skill itself can help me grow. I've also did drop shipping back in 2022, and that helped me get far as well. I got up to about, if it matters, I don't really see a point doing money numbers in drop shipping, but I got up until like $10,000, but that was like in the span of like 5 months. right? Was it 5 months? Yeah, $10,000 in like 5 months. So I just stopped it because drop shipping itself wasn't for me. It is it's good. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it didn't really align with who I am as a person, right? So that's why I stopped it. But just learning different skills, learn one hard skill, right? It could be job shipping if you want to, coding, copywriting, public speaking, speaking in general. Learn something and find a way to earn your money from it. And who knows, focusing on that one skill only can help you grow overall. And the last advice is to detach from the outcomes, meaning that do work because it aligns with your goals, not because you want like a pat on the head, right? Because that's how you get manipulated, right? Do things that align with who you are as a person, as an individual.